hands and my feet. This is gonna be a roundup about hand and foot care. Let's go. Always a little icebreaker from the top. I've been in the kitchen, been baking. I'm good at baking. Let me tell you, during panini press times, I did the HelloFresh thing, and subsequently I realized I can cook. I can cook a number of things. We'll talk about some of my savory items at a later time, but I want to share with you 2 recipes. Everyone loves my coffee cake. It's always a winner. And I tried almost like a fruit explosion muffin. I tried to recreate it. It wasn't giving the fruit explosion, but it was excellent. Made some for my neighbors. Got some really good feedback on those. So yeah, get into the kitchen. It's cold. I mean, what else is there to do, right? Just buy some flour. If you got some frozen fruit and some sour cream in the fridge, I believe in you. If I can do it, you can do it. In this episode, I want to talk about hands and feet. I think it's just one of those things that we neglect. If you need to get like a little birthday present for somebody, a little add-on, or if your hands are really struggling and maybe they're looking a little bit worse for wear, I got some things that you may want to look into. Now, a little addendum. In my body care video, I talked about this. This is the Shiracom from Avent. 2 things that I noticed. One, it does in fact say get dressed immediately on the packaging. I don't know if I really emphasized how quick and how fast absorbing this is. Another point that I kind of misspoke and I need to correct. So there are 2 types of Shiracom. There is this, which is called Nutrition, and then the range that I used to use is called Shiracom AD. I believe has been updated or has been relaunched. If you truly have a skin condition, you're better to get the Shiracom AD over getting this one. In terms of hands and feet, I'm gonna rate everything on scent and texture out of 5. Really, what does it come down to? You want something that either smells good or doesn't have a fragrance. We're pro fragrance over here. And texture. You want things that you can come back to and use repeatedly, and you want to enjoy them, right? That's all this is about. There's no harm in going to the pharmacy and just buying a generic unscented cream and using that from head to toe. We want something that's experiential, something that has a little bit of delight built into it. So that's what we're doing. What I'm using currently, this from Diptyque, luxurious hand balm, exceptional product. It smells of apricots. It melts and it absorbs really well. Between my knuckles, I tend to get very dry there, and some years it gets discolored, it scales to remind me, hey, you, put some hand cream on. But this year I've been very consistent and very diligent about just putting on a bit of hand cream every single night. Just use it consistently and you should be all right. First, we're going to start with the Dr. Sturm. So the Dr. Sturm is that anti-aging sort of formulation, very light, pleasant scent that I would rate a 5, and the texture is a 4. It's not as dense as one would hope, and it has that slight slip to it. Because it is so slippery, I would rate this as an overnight product. It's not one that I would like to use throughout the day because it doesn't absorb as quickly as I would hope. And so if you have $1 to spare, get the Dr. Sturm. Next, L'Occitane, the Immortelle Serum and Cream. Work with me here. So this one, the Immortelle, which is their hero anti-aging range, is the product that comes in the gold, huge seller. And it's not only doing firming and anti-aging, but it's also supposed to target pigmentation on the back of one's hands. It's a little bit gritty if you use it sparingly, but if you use it more generously, that texture is a lot more pleasant to massage. I would rate this one a 3 for texture, and I would rate it a 3 for the scent. You have to love it. Sometimes the scent I feel like is too overwhelming. It's this very unique, earthy floral fragrance, much like the Dr. Sturm. This is in addition to, so if you know somebody who uses L'Occitane already and potentially uses that Immortelle skincare, if you've seen it in their bathroom, then get them this hand cream. But for me, this is a slight disappointment. Not one of the better ones. I mean, at L'Occitane, I think they have better hand creams. You know, that's their bread and butter, their hand creams, right? Their lavender is amazing, and their almond hand cream, also incredible. But this one, not so much. So the next one is a hero one. This is a very famous product. It is from Clarins. Texture-wise, this gets a strong 5 out of 5. It comes out a firm cream texture. It absorbs completely, and it's the sort of product that almost has like a glove effect. I'm a hand cream at night person, but this is the one that I would use throughout the day. It really is imperceptible. It doesn't feel waxy. It doesn't feel gritty. Your hands don't feel dirty. They feel fresh, clean, pliable. It's absolute perfection, that texture. Now, the scent, I rate it a 4 only because it is slightly powdery, and I can appreciate that not everyone's going to like that fragrance. I don't mind it so much. I find that it's not too noticeable after a couple of minutes, but overall, this is a strong product. And then lastly, this is one that's relatively newer to me, is from Alchemist. And you may not know this, but L'Occitane as a business, they do have other brands that they own. So Elemis and Grown Alchemist are brands that L'Occitane has acquired. Their hand cream is phenomenal. This one gets a 5 for the scent and a 5 for the texture. It is incredible. I want to draw a parallel between this and Aesop, both Australian, both rooted in being natural, organic, and so on. Now, where the Aesop, their signature hand wash Resurrection, in addition to the citrus, there's something aromatic that's mixed into it. Rosemary. I would argue that the Grown Alchemist and their signature citrus fragrance is far superior to the Aesop. It smells almost like the rind of a clementine or like a tangerine. Then the texture, it's like a gel serum. It absorbs very quickly, much like the Clarins, but it's so nice to massage. It's lightweight, and again, it doesn't have that sort of greasiness or sort of waxy feel. Grown Alchemist is the absolute best hand cream that I've come across in the last couple of years. So now that we've covered hands, I want to do a little conversation about cuticles. In the past, I have purchased a number of implements from Tweezerman. I use a series of clippers that they call Gear, and they're really functional. They have like this rubber cage around the clippers, so when you are clipping your fingernails, your toenails, it catches any bits so things don't go flying around. Just, hygienic, right? The cuticle pusher that I have, I'm going to be putting that in the recycling bin. The rounded side is fine. It's safe to use, but anything that's kind of sharp, I feel like you could do more harm than good with that sort of implement. That said, I definitely use cuticle clippers, so anytime I notice that there's anything that's jagged or that it's, some pesky hard skin around my fingernails, get the cuticle clippers out, because that is an absolute must. In addition to those sorts of implements, I do have a couple of treatments that I've tried that I think are very good. One is Lano Gold. It's the one that's a combination of lanolin and manuka. It's very occlusive. It has a very high utility. You can use it everywhere from head to toe, suitable for the whole family. Alternatively, if you want something that's specific to cuticles, two very popular products. One is the Chanel Wheel Camellia. I thought this was going to be a limited edition item when it first launched, but it still seems to be going strong. It gets top marks for functionality because it is designed very well. It's got a soft touch sort of squeeze tube. It's got a spongy doe foot applicator at the end, so it's on a bias. So the idea is you squeeze the solution and then you can just kind of push back your cuticles and massage the oil in. I don't think it does enough. Right? And so for that reason, I'd skip it. It's well designed, but whatever solution is built into it, I don't think it's delivering. Now, the product that I do think is really worth your money is the one from Dior, and this is the Wheel Apricot. This is a classic item that they've been making since 1963. It's got lots of petrochemical, and it has the apricot oil. You could definitely find cheaper solutions, but if you are in the market and you do like, your high-end product, this is the one that's the best bang for your buck. Let's imagine that you put this stuff on before you go to bed. You'll wake up in the morning and you'll notice that the cuticle beds or the nail beds still have product embedded in them. So it really creates a barrier for your skin to heal and repair. Excellent, foolproof product. Definitely rate that one. I want to talk about things like these sorts of sheet mask things that you can get for your hands, for your feet. Skip these. The ones that are for moisture are pointless. These sheet mask things, they plateau. If you use one of these sorts of hand masks and you fall asleep with them, you'll notice that your fingertips will go from being like a grape, and in the morning you'll notice that they're like a raisin. There's only so much benefit that you can attain from these sorts of products. And the ones for the feet that claim to be peeling, the baby foot thing, the best way to look after your feet is twofold. As a final step, just before you're about to turn off the shower tap, if you keep a pumice inside the shower, buff your hooves just a little bit every couple of days. You may do it more often in the summertime when it's Birkenstock season. This is a very cost-effective, low-effort way of looking after your feet. And also, again, moisturize them. Not a big fan of the original L'Occitane Shea Butter products, but these, which came out a little while ago, these are the bombs. They come in these white tubes. They're richer than the ones in the silver. If you've ever used the original foot cream, it was kind of a gel texture. moisture. It had a very strong lavender fragrance. This still has a really nice lavender scent to it. Find something that's rich and that you feel comfortable applying on a regular basis. Then you don't need to think about using a lancet or a foot file or anything crazy like that. I'd like to know what you're using for your hands and your feet. Put those in the comments down below. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever feels right to you. Subscribe if you so wish. Thank you for listening. Thank me for speaking, and I will catch you in the next one. Adios.